Good. I never wait the whole time. I
Okay.
never wait. So we're jumping right in. She's already here.
Yay.
I'm Evan, socially awkward with Evan Wecksell, but I have a comedian and a writer, and I'm going to show you guys why. What is the festival this is in right now?
This is in the Fringe Festival in Hollywood, which is so exciting. I think there's over 400 people in the festival, 400 different shows in the festival. So theater is going around the clock from 10 in the morning till midnight. There are shows at every venue.
So but all of these are at one venue. You're Broadwater the whole time?
All of mine are at one venue,
Yeah.
but there's I think there's 17 venues that are just round the clock doing shows, which is kind of exciting.
Cool. So yeah, this is amazing. Like, again, the title is Adventures of a Slutty Girl with an Eating Disorder.
That's me.
That has everything right away. What more could you ask for? So
Yeah, I mean, it is everything. But back in, and if you have herpes, you get in free. So
okay, well, so we're good. Medical records. Okay, let's bring it all in. Cool. So yeah, I brought you on. We've only met one time. We met at a show in Pasadena.
That's right.
And I think your writing was very sharp and it really stood out to me.
Thanks.
And I could, yeah. So I didn't, but I really knew nothing about you. And but I know, like, from following you, like, you do shows regularly. Like you go out of town.
As a stand-up, I am always working as a one-woman show person. This is brand new, but yes, I am doing a show tonight in Calabasas with Earthquake, who is amazing. Wow. And I'm very excited about that. And I should be promoting that. I'm going to be at Rooster T. Feathers up north in July. I'm opening for Paul Rodriguez at Idaho Theater. Yeah, I'm doing a lot of theater. Cool. And a lot of clubs, but trying to get into the 1,000 seat theaters, et cetera,
Yeah. What were your comedic influences when you were starting out or starting to do comedy? Did anyone like show you, like, you're watching the TV one day and like, these people showed me that's what I want to do? Anything like that?
No. I was very bummed out. No, I had a traumatic childhood, didn't watch I didn't we weren't watching that. But I did have a Bill Cosby album.
Right.
And we listened to that, and that was hysterical. He was super funny. But we weren't a comedy family. In fact, I was thinking about it. As a writer, I've made my living, and I've been very lucky, knock on wood, to have made my living writing television shows that are comedy and doing stand-up. And it's so funny because I love reading and I love writing, and those are my respites, books and writing. And when I think about my family, I think we had 2 paperback books, and that was all of the literature that was to be found at my house.
Yeah. So, and you mentioned, you said you had a rough childhood. Is this show that you're doing now, is this like a culmination of like your life story basically, or
no.
Has your career built to doing a show like this?
I don't have enough insight to say that, but I just say that many people have told me, you should do this, you should do it, you should do it. So I finally did it.
Right.
And it's about a portion of my life, and kind of a portion of my life. I was very inspired to give a shout out to one of my favorite comics and one-person show people, and he won an Emmy for such, is Alex Edelman. I don't know if you saw his show. It's amazing, and it's on Netflix. Just look for Alex Edelman. I saw it at the Almanson and was so impressed and thought, oh, I also like that format where you're doing one thing. It's one like 2 hour or 1 hour experience, but then you can flash back to some other things and then come back to this experience and then go to some other thing and then come back to complete this experience. So
Mhm.
I thought, that's a format because that format appealed to me.
So it's not like a linear one woman show. You're kind of flashing back as you're telling the story.
Yeah, I'm doing
Okay.
something. It all takes place while I'm waiting for my drug dealer on Hollywood Boulevard.
Wow.
Back before cell phones
Right.
and pagers, when you had to go the old-fashioned way of waiting on the corner. In fact, there were songs. Lou Reed had a song back then, "Waiting on the Man."
Right.
This is how you had to do it
Yeah.
back in the day. So it all takes place while I'm waiting for my drug dealer. And yeah, so I'm excited about it. People really like it. And there's even a song.
Oh, good. Yeah, I just know I wanted you on because my wife, obviously Kelly, she saw the show and she was like, I can't believe what this was. Like she was in disbelief. She was in all these levels, like and she just like was blown away by the end of it. And don't let the title fool you. I feel like there's a bit of like an epilogue to this experience of you waiting for your drug dealer. But
Yes, but that's why I love the title Adventures, because it sounds like Superman. It's exciting adventures of a slutty girl with an eating disorder. Like she is gonna make
right.
something happen. She's not just waiting. It's an adventure. There's an
Yeah.
adventure to be had.
Was it just like, obviously sometimes people have to have that kind of like their story arc in their life.
Yeah.
Like where did it like was the drug dealing, was that just like a gradual thing that just kind of like built on itself, or
Oh,
was
I
it,
was not a drug dealer.
I
I
mean,
was
a drug user?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I would have been a good drug dealer because not great at math. Math is not my forte.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know. It's a different line of work that I don't is that's not for me. But
Like, is it the English system? Is it the metric system? Like,
yeah,
how are we doing this? Yeah.
very metric.
Yeah. Okay.
Although back in those days we didn't have cell phones and we also didn't weigh things. Everything was
Mm.
by feel, amount, look at
Okay.
it. It
Yeah.
was we were more cavemen.
Like gravity, factoring in gravity,
Yeah.
altitude of where you were
Yeah,
when you were
did you do
buying.
drugs,
Yeah.
Evan? Did you have any drug history that is exciting?
No, I have no drug. I know. I mean, I've had the marijuana in college and maybe like a year or two after, and there's nothing like outstanding. I would be like, oh, this was the best. It was more like I just was caught up in the mass of what was going on at that time. So,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
I, obviously alcohol is something like, as as you get started in comedy, you always want to support the venues that have you.
Yes.
So that's really what I did in the beginning, but yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So,
Yeah.
yeah, but well, you saved yourself some brain cells. You probably have more brain cells than I do at this point.
Right.
But there's a famous quote by Billie Holiday,
Yeah.
who is one of
Mhm.
my idols, an amazing musician and poet, and just an amazing woman. But a quote she said
Mhm.
about her life,
Mhm.
which I think bears repeating, and anybody who's ever struggled with any kind of substance, she said, "Some people have to find the gutter to know where the sidewalk ends."
Right.
Isn't that beautiful?
Yes.
And very, very truthful for me. I don't know if it was it was not a real gutter. I was not laying in the gutter, but I
Mhm.
did kind of wipe out and so forth. But yeah, anyway, and like a phoenix, here I am still. My drug dealer's dead. A lot of people from the
That's it. So you kept in touch. You read your dealer's obituary?
No, I funny enough ran into him. I have 4 sons, and
Right.
one of them, I was at the Toyota dealership also
Okay.
in that area. I was like 4 blocks away from where, we were, from where we made our meeting and had
Mhm.
made a meeting many times.
Mhm.
4 blocks away buying a car for my, I have 4 sons. One of them needed a car to go off to college, and so we were looking for cars, and, I saw him I saw him and, I have to say he was on a last leg. He was having a very heated, discussion with a garbage can. So
So this
yeah,
is so it's the same guy going to the same location that he was even going to with you back when you were doing your in business together, and
but I
he's
was
still
one of
that.
his best clients. Yeah, but
Yeah.
I don't it wasn't the same, but it was, in proximity. You could walk from
Yeah.
there to here.
He
You
knows
could
the
walk.
zone.
Yeah, it was right
Yeah.
in there.
Wow.
It was in his, turf, and I was like, "Oh my god," and I said his name, and, he just glanced at me. He didn't recognize me, but I recognized him, and, yeah, it was a little bit sad, but
Yeah.
also it was, like, "Wow, that could have been you, girl. Could have
Yeah.
been you. Could have been you." He was really handsome. Back when it's my show,
Right.
he was the
Did he
man.
look like anyone? Look like any actor
I
out
would
there?
say if you were gonna say, whoever would play Jimi Hendrix,
Okay.
uh, he had as much style as Jimi Hendrix.
Okay.
He wore purple leather pants.
Yeah.
He was very handsome and tall. He was he never, he didn't walk around without a shirt or anything, but he had a
Right.
walking cane, a cane
Oh,
for
wow. Oh,
not he
yeah.
didn't need a
Oh,
cane, he didn't
that's
need a
classy.
cane.
Yeah.
Oh, he was all that and a bag of speed.
Oh, God.
But he was cool, and it's not like he was the only drug dealer, but he
Right.
was my favorite by far because he kept it business and not try to get
Right.
personal with you, so,
Right.
I held him high, I trusted him, like you could I never went to his house, but I knew where it was, and he always liked to do things out of there, but, I wouldn't have felt nervous going to his house.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, and this is like so we're saying this is like 70s and 80s when this is all happening?
This is, yeah, the early '80s when this is
Early
happening,
it's
yeah.
all going that so basically most of the shows in the early 80s and where
And
was
before, and the flashbacks.
and the flashbacks before that, wow.
So that's
Where
why it's not a arc of my life because
right,
I've gone on to
right, this
do
is just like a certain, episode.
yeah.
Is there then where's the eating disorder part come in?
Oh, well, at the time, I
Mhm.
weighed 89 pounds, and
Yeah,
I'm 5'7" and a half,
okay.
and, uh, yeah, so I weigh 120 pounds now,
Oh,
and people say that I'm thin-ish, but,
yeah,
like, "Oh, you're"
yeah,
not unhealthily thin, but I like to be about 120, um, but 89, and I had a goal to be less.
yeah,
So, uh, yeah, so I talk about all the benefits of having an eating disorder. I was all down with the eating disorder, loved it.
right.
Uh, every doctor that told me that I was doing
Too
harm to
thin,
myself, I
yeah.
mean, that I got hospitalized 4 times for
Oh
it,
my gosh.
but I was very certain that they were trying to fatten me up like all of them. Like, I wanted to get that IV out of my arm, and if I didn't, if as soon as as it was quiet on the ward, I'd be walking around with my IV to burn the calories of that sugar water off.
Yeah, I guess once you get into that kind of frame of mind, I guess, you get kinda competitive with yourself,
Oh,
perhaps.
yes.
Oh, yeah.
It's very interesting, and I don't say this, in the show, so I feel fine talking about it. But
Okay.
at the
Sure.
time, I was trying to kind of free myself of my burdens, emotional and mental, and just life burdens, by losing weight. I felt like I could maybe get light if I was light
So
enough.
just shed all the mass.
I would shed all the mass. I would shed
Yeah.
all my problems, and if I just got to the right weight, everything would click. Everything
Right.
would be good. I
Right.
know it's kind of silly, but you had to be there. You have to get into it to know, and it is something that you can control. You can control how many sunflowers you're going to eat in a day, and that's what I ate, is sunflower seeds.
Wow.
So
Oh, that was what. Oh, so that was the food for you at that as 89 pounds.
mhm.
Okay.
And so you feel very in control, because
Right.
other people can be getting pancakes. I could sit with somebody eating whatever,
Yeah.
and I could be cause over food. Food has no effect on me. I can look at it, I can resist it. I have a superpower. I don't need it. And if I have 14 sunflower seeds, less than 20 sunflower seeds, that's what
Right.
I have.
And it sounds like even though with all this like these turmoil, all these like horrible like personal situations you were in, you still stayed somewhat responsible at the time. Like you seem to like have it all down to a science. Or am I
Well, if you call starving yourself responsible, I was very responsible.
okay? You
It's
you're
like being a drug
self-destructively
addict.
responsible.
Yes, destructively responsible. It's just that for some reason, and then, I later realized what the reasons were,
Yeah.
and how to dismantle the
Yeah.
little bomb. It's like a ticking bomb that was going
Right.
off in my head. I learned how to dismantle the wires, the yellow, and disconnect the
Right.
blue and all that. But at the time, once you get into it, the scale is everything, and you weigh yourself, and
Right.
and know. When I started out, I think I was 114 when I started out, because you weigh less when
Yeah.
you're.
I know sometimes like, the scale can determine your mood for the day.
Oh,
Yeah.
it determined my value as a human being.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but you get in these things where you're like, oh, I'm 114. I should be 110. I remember
Yeah.
that was my first goal, 110. I should not be in the tens. I want to be in the nine. Then when I was 109, I wanted to be 99, like 3 digits. You just
Yeah.
keep going. 3 digits is so much. And you just keep going. And I was not satisfied with 89. I had
Yeah.
goals to be less. So I definitely would not be here if I didn't change my ways.
Right.
Change your ways.
And the show's gonna, we're not gonna give it away, but the show, we'll see if you change your ways or if you're still, slutty and not eating well by the end of the show. We'll see.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
yeah, we'll see.
we'll see. Okay. Intrigued. Um,
And you can handle one thing and still be slutty. You could be slutty and eating well,
right.
many people are. But yes, so it was just it was a interesting part of my life, but my childhood is very interesting, and I don't think other people have had it. So it's
Right.
not the normal
Hmm.
traumatic childhood,
Right.
I think. So,
But and you're gonna mention that in the show.
oh yes,
Like,
all of that.
okay.
My
Okay.
mom's in there, my dad's in there, one of my favorite people that helped me, Pearl, is in there, my aunt. Some unusual, a cast of almost sci-fi characters.
How do you invoke them into the show? Like, do you just mention them or is it?
No,
Yeah,
I go back, and
yeah,
Evan,
I gotta see. I know
yeah,
there's a
Evan.
few episodes. The next one's on the 15th. So right there, the
Yes, the
15th
15th, and there's only
few.
4 tickets left
Oh my
on that
gosh.
one, and on the 19th, that's Father's Day, FYI,
Yeah.
and it's at 9:30, but there's 4 tickets left for that one,
Okay.
and, but on the 19th, I think there's 9 tickets,
Okay.
And on the
Okay.
22nd, there's a couple. And then I've got like a midnight show on the
I
27th.
know that the crazy one person in me would be like, I want to go to that one because that seems like
Well, there's a lot of comics that I'm also doing someone else's show. I'm the comic in a burlesque review show, but they
right,
asked me to be a comic for them, and all their shows start at midnight. So
right.
there is a group of people that come out at midnight, and I'm one of those people. What time do you go to bed, Evan?
Oh, I would probably ideally I'd want to go to bed around midnight just because I had kids, but
Oh
you know,
yeah, that's that. They're a real buzz
but
killer.
once you blast through when you're tired and you get
The
overtired,
second wind is so
then
strong.
you can just like I don't mind flying red eyes. Like I'll have enough to get me to the next day. But then
Absolutely.
there's always a moment for like an hour where you're like, this is when I'm gonna sleep while I'm awake.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
But my kids are older now. Nobody's in school.
Right.
Happy to say everybody can drive. Yay. Um, and two of my kids have flown the coop and two are here.
Okay.
Two have flown and two are here. But um I was gonna say that as a comic, sometimes you don't really get home till one-ish.
Right.
So or and I work in Vegas a lot, so then you gotta, sometimes you have 8:30, 10:30, 12:30. So
Yeah.
I'm just used to that. I
Yeah.
I always get if I'm up at 10:30, which is always,
Mhm.
there's a second wind that comes in
Right.
strong. So I try to get to bed by 2.
Those were the days. Yeah, I always, my ideal sleep hours for me would be like 2 to 10, but
Yes, 2 to 10. I
two to
mean,
ten is the best.
2 to 10 is the best. Do you know where the term graveyard shift comes from?
No.
Well, I find these little phrases and idioms so interesting. But back in the day, when and I can't tell you when the day was. I think it's the 1800s, 1700s.
Yeah.
Anyway, we used to have a lot of metal utensils, metal plates,
Yeah.
lead cups. So people often got lead poisoning and were considered dead.
Oh my
So
gosh.
people were buried alive a lot,
Yeah.
especially, and that's when that term poison tomatoes. Ever heard that some tomatoes are poison?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, some foods leach the lead out of the plates more than
Mm.
others. So people could have a tomato and then get lead poisoning. But often men, I think men more than women at the time, drank alcohol and the alcohol would leach the lead from the cup. So the guy's dead. He's
Right.
passed out and he's dead. That's why they had a wake. A wake was just laying the dead person on your table for a while. For a
Okay.
few days, people would come and visit, but often they would wake up because
Right.
they're not dead. Okay. So, but then still, if they didn't wake up during the wake, then they would be buried. And then I think it was the I'm not so good on the time,
Yeah.
all that. But when doctors used to be barbers. They would have your doctor was a
I
barber. They were untrained,
I
right?
feel like that was something I've read one time. Yeah.
Yeah, and in the 1800s, a guy got the good idea of like we should look and practice our operations on cadavers because maybe
Hmm.
instead of practicing on the living.
Hmm.
And just being barbers. So there became a big need for dead bodies, and they would hire people as grave robbers. But thanks to the grave robbers and the need for cadavers that were illegally gotten, um, the grave robbers would notice there's a lot of claw marks in the caskets.
Yeah.
So then as the caskets are opened and there's no body there, and then
Right.
they see the claw marks,
Hmm.
some people were like, "Ooh, zombies,"
Yep.
but, other people were like, "Oh, wow, we are accidentally burying alive people." So what they would do is tie a little string around your finger. You don't know this, Evan?
No. No.
Isn't it fascinating?
I still don't even know why is it called the graveyard shift yet.
Okay, I'm getting to it. They would tie a little string around your finger,
Yeah.
bury you,
Mhm.
run that string up to a pole and have a bell on the pole And then you would sit at night through the whole night as a graveyard watcher, and that was a graveyard shift to see if the bell
Wow.
rang, and when it rang, you were saved by the bell. That's where that comes from.
Wow. So we got an expression and an NBC TV show out of that one
Yes,
episode.
out of that one thing, but if it wasn't for grave robbers, if it wasn't for the advance of science and the doctors needing cadavers and not knowing where else to get them, it was not
Right.
okay. Nobody donated their body to science, so they just had to dig them up. And that's how we found out we were burying so many living people.
Yeah.
So graveyard shifts. But anyway, I could do a graveyard shift. I wouldn't want to be actually in a cemetery, but I do have the propensity to stay up through the night.
Right.
And if it
Yes.
was my loved one, I would certainly be awake hoping the bell would ring.
Right.
Right?
Now, yes, definitely. What do you think was like the first when you started to have the idea for this show? Like, what is there like a first scene? Is there a first like 5-minute segment? Because I guess you kind of like put these together a piece at a time, or
Oh, you mean
did
that came to me?
yeah, like the king, like if I'm gonna do this one woman show, like this is the first, this is my jumping off point, and from there I can create the whole narrative.
No, I'm lucky in some ways that
Yeah.
things come to me. As a TV writer, you have to have the beginning, middle, and end, and you have to have it all outlined before you
Yeah.
go to script.
Right.
So, I don't think in terms of 5-minute chunks. I think in terms of story arc. So if you start here, it's going to go here.
Right.
And now what's my B story and my C story?
Yeah.
If that's my A story. So
Right.
what does your fan base like to do? They like to talk about writing and stuff like this?
Oh, I don't have a fan base. Don't worry about it.
But I mean,
I'm just really, I just like connecting with different people each episode.
oh,
That's all
cool.
this is. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yes. So I've come from many years of selling TV shows and writing TV shows. I've
Yeah.
sold 21 different TV
Wow.
shows, paid and sold.
A few that we know of.
Well, only ones that have been made. I've been on other people's shows. I mean, you can look me up on
Yeah, I want to verify your IMDb credits. Because
well, my
technically,
IMDb credits will not talk about
what you sold.
pilots.
Right.
Well, they're sold, but unless they're produced,
Right.
IMDb doesn't do them.
But I know that you can go around and tell people that you were on The Office once. Is that true?
Yes, I was on The Office for one season, and but that is not the correct Office.
That's right. But you can still tell people that. That's
yes.
all right.
But it was The Office, another show that was on CBS, and I was one of the leads on that show with Valerie Harper.
Right.
Back in the day. Yes.
Good. And then the other one I wanted to verify, you did an episode of Full House.
I did a couple episodes of Full House.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I was Claire, and my daughter was Gina, who was a bad influence, and she had makeout parties and she smoked, and then I started dating Bob Saget on the show, not in real life.
Right.
And then my daughter, anyway, so
Who did your daughter hang out with, and who was she bad influence on, like DJ or?
No, the middle child.
Oh, Stephanie,
yes.
Yeah,
and so that caused problems with the little girls because they felt kicked out because they used to like hang out with Stephanie. And then when my daughter was there and they're like, oh my God, maybe we could be sisters if your mom marries my dad. And so then, but it was fun. It was so interesting to be on Full House. And then I dated in real life DJ's boyfriend. I forgot his name too. That's why I wouldn't be a good drug dealer.
Yeah, because you know too many people.
Yeah, names don't stick with me.
Okay, yeah.
So that's if you're a drug dealer, you've got to know a lot of names and and have it all marked down. Like I wouldn't be good. But anyway, Stephanie's boyfriend.
I forgot there was a couple.
Stephanie, the oldest one.
Stephanie's the middle one. DJ's the oldest.
Yeah, DJ's boyfriend was in a band I don't know if you watched the show, but anyway,
I don't remember. I mean, I remember it when it was airing.
oh, she
Yeah.
had a boy. Well, remember her cousin? I mean, remember Joey? Is that his name? No, not Joey. What was the
John
cute guy?
Stamos,
Yeah, what was his name?
Jesse.
Jesse.
Yeah.
Jesse had a band,
Right. Jesse and the Rippers.
and the Rippers. Wow, yes,
Yes.
Jesse and the Rippers, and DJ dated a guy in the band that had kind of curly-ish hair and was I forget what he played. I guess the guitar. And what
Sure.
yeah, and so I also dated him when I was
Okay.
on the show.
Okay. These are amazing stories. Um,
Uh,
cool. Well, I'm excited for the show. I mean, I'm gonna look at my calendar and see what's possible, and we'll
yes,
start to
you
make
should
it.
come. You should come. I
Okay,
have a very dark sense of humor.
it's fine.
And I love you know, that's what makes me laugh is
Yeah.
things that are inappropriate and dark and like, oh my God, we're not supposed to laugh about this, but we're laughing about it. And I think the more things you've gone through in life,
Yeah.
the darker your sense of humor becomes. Like Full House didn't make me laugh that much, but I did appreciate being on the show. Bob Saget, though,
Right.
I
I'm
worked with
sure
a few
his
times.
humor.
In real life, he made me laugh, and
Right.
we worked together for here and there at the Improv. And yeah, what are some of your? Can I ask you some
Yeah,
questions?
yes. Oh, this is fun. Go ahead.
Okay, good. What are some of the comics you like in life or in the past or current?
Um, I mean, movie wise, in my formative years, obviously all the Jim Carrey, Adam Sandler
Oh
movies.
yeah,
Sure.
yeah.
Comedian wise, I do guitar in my act, so I saw Stephen Lynch do guitar comedy on Comedy Central, so I'm like, wow, I could do it comedy that way because I can
Yeah.
combine like because I mean I'm a Bon Jovi fan that just happened to do comedy, but then became a comedian that happened to play guitar, so I just kind of Stephen Lynch has like a great charisma and a great songwriting ability to do that stuff, but I also like Dave Attell because
I
he's from
love
Long
David Tell.
Island like me, and he's so
Love
like
him.
he's very compact. Like he also has like sharp writing.
Very
Like
sharp writing.
there's so many one-liners. He's like, I'm afraid of traveling, but I think that's because my dad used to beat me with a globe.
He's so great. He's to me very underestimated
Right,
because to me he should be a household name. But if you don't go to Caroline's, if you haven't been, like
right.
he's
He's a
not he
pros
is
pro.
famous, but he's a pros pro. And
He
Bill Hicks used to be that way. And I used to go on the road a lot with Bill Maher, and he was funny. And oh my God, anyway, a lot of my favorite comics are dead, but
right.
be that as it may, yeah, I love Dave Attell.
I just loved like he's had this show Insomniac because he would go like he'd start the show. The episode starts with him doing the show, whether it's at a college or a club, and then he'd just go around and talk to all the graveyard shift people.
There you
And
go.
it's like I wanted to do a show like that where I would like go to a college every week and talk to the kids. And
Oh, wouldn't that
like
be cool?
I made like one little I did that at my own college. I made a little like demo of that, but that's like it's a cool thing. Like and he went to Long Island one time and he had like they filmed like his mom giving him a bath. Part of the episode is like really funny.
He is so dark. I
Yeah.
love him. But he's
But he
dark.
cleaned up though. He actually like he was big on like some stuff, but he's been sober, I think, for a while.
Oh, well, good for him.
Yeah.
But what I was gonna say, he's dark, but he has a lot of humanity.
Right.
He's not just yeah,
And I
David
think because you got to be likable first. Like you can't if you're
very
not
likable. He's
right.
very likable, and that's why he gets away with shit. And me too.
Right. Yes.
Me too.
Do you have any other questions for me?
Yes. First of all, is that Dave Attell show around still, or that's from long?
Insomniac was around like 20 years ago, but
Oh,
like
wow.
I have like some DVDs of it and
God,
um
I would love to see that.
yeah, do I even have it
Um,
up here? I have some
Insomniac.
DVDs
Oh,
up
I was
here.
gonna
Oh,
oh,
yeah, I do. Check this out.
wow, let me see. Oh, look at him and look at his little grumpy face. I love that. He just looks so like put upon. It's all
Yeah.
backwards, but
He's up
I
to no
love
good, but
it.
it's Vegas, Key West, New York City, Austin, and this is just like
What a
some of the
great
episodes.
idea. What a great idea.
Yeah.
Um, I like oh, I was gonna say, I used to be a Bon Jovi fan back in the day, and I would
Yeah, I was in the fan club for a handful of years, and his mom is on my mailing list. I mean, she passed last year, but I have
wow.
emails from her, like we would email, and
Oh, wow,
she'd
that's
warn me
cool.
about LA when I said I was gonna move to LA. And I'm Facebook friends with his brother, and I'm like I've met the bassist's wife, and it's there's
Wow.
some people like like just because we've been fans so long, and there's like a whole community. Like I've had many episodes where I've interviewed Bon Jovi fans. I'm gonna probably after this episode I'm gonna interview someone. They're gonna have a fan club trip this weekend in Nashville because he now has
Oh,
a bar in Nashville. It's like a great like 4-story bar, but they're gonna have like an actual show for the fans that are willing to go to it. But they put them up in like a
wow.
nice hotel for a couple days, and
You know,
you
some fans get out of hand.
yes,
Some fans get out of hand.
yeah,
My, friend of a friend, when I was young,
yeah.
her mom, first of all, started really liking Engelbert Humperdinck,
Okay,
and then sh you know, she put a poster of him up in their living room. Now that's unusual because the living room, you're not even allowed to go in there.
right.
It's got the nice furniture, don't mess it up. So now there's a poster on the wall that was put up with masking tape. You go by her house and there's loud music. That woman, that mother of like, I think 3 kids, might have been 4, but I think 3 kids, left
Mhm.
to follow Engelbert Humperdinck around the world as a fan. And I only knew that because I barely knew that girl, but I saw her at a reunion and said to her, "Oh, yes." 'Cause I mean, it was like, "Oh, yes, it was your mom really got into Engelbert Humperdinck." She never came back. The dad remarried and the mom, now this was 15 years ago, was
Mhm.
still going, and sometimes they would go into a hotel room right as he checked out and grab
Right.
the tissue paper that he used, and
Yeah.
I'm like, "Oh my god."
Yeah. I
And
mean,
he's
I know yeah,
he
I know
was
Bon Jovi fans that have seen them like live like 200 times. But that's and they know who like the band knows who that person is, and he's a nice guy. He's a very adorable guy. But yeah, sometimes you gotta just watch out. Is there
Yes,
because
it's like an eating disorder. It can get too far, can go too far.
right, and like and when you're going on the fan club, these trips, like you're paying, they're not cheap, and it's like imagine all the people willing to pay that to go on the trip, and they're all in like the same place at the same time. I just don't know, like if you start getting competitive, like I'm more of a fan than you, or I'm ranked number 3 out of everyone here. I don't know.
Yes, yes, I've got, remember that great, oh, Stan, the song
Oh yeah, that's why they use that as an expression now.
oh, what do they say?
Well, they say if you're standing someone, it's like they're referring to that song.
Oh, that song
Yeah,
just got me,
yeah,
and the whole video Eminem put together was like,
yeah.
"Oh my god, you gotta be careful." Well, but, have you ever gone on one of those to see Bon Jovi
Oh
with
sure, I
me?
did a couple. This was like before, like as like right after college, I did a couple of trips in like New Jersey,
Oh,
and
when he was right, isn't that where he's from?
Giants, yeah, and Giant Stadium. Yeah, it was great. Giant Stadium 2 nights, and I was that's when I was. This is before I did comedy. I was covering songs in the hotel after the show. I'd be playing up and partying with them to like 2, 3 in the morning, and it's like 10% or less of the people there are guys. So I'm like, oh, this is great for me. Not that it ever went anywhere with me, but still, it was like, I was comfortable there, and I did a couple of shows there, and I went to a couple of trips and met many of the fans, and
Oh,
yeah, I got in trouble with his mom one time because I was so excited in college I learned this concept of like the power hour, which
What's that?
is, it's like, I guess it's like you would do a sip of beer every minute for a shot of beer for every minute for an hour, which is obviously not endorsed. I don't, that's horrible. But
A
I
shot
was
of
like,
beer, like you chug a big thing
not
every.
like you do a shot of beer and every hour, a minute for every hour for an hour. But
Yeah.
that was obviously destructive.
Yeah.
But I was so excited about the concept because what I would do is I would make a tape, and every 60 seconds there would be a new Bon Jovi song would come on. So I'd call it the Bon Jovi Power Hour. And I was like so
Oh.
excited. And I told his mom about it. I'm like, Mrs. B, guess what? This is gonna be a great thing to do. And then she got pissed. She's like, she emailed the whole like message board. Like, I heard you guys are planning this Power Hour. We do not endorse that on this trip.
Oh.
This is not frowned. This is very frowned upon. I'm like, okay, good. Mrs. B put us in line.
Oh, yeah, you don't wanna
Yeah.
piss her off. Oh,
No.
wow, 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 wow. But,
Go.
I've been engaged a lot and only married 4 times.
Go.
But, I was engaged once to a guy in Vegas who was was the lead singer in a Journey band that was playing Vegas while I
Tribute
was.
band?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't really call him that then, but like in the hotel, I think I was at Harrah's at the time. So I'm doing 3 shows.
Yeah.
They're doing 3 shows. Our shows are, so I can't watch the other comics. When you're a comic, you get very tired of comedy. You can't see it. Like you could see it maybe once, but you don't want to sit there and watch people's shows. So I would go
Yeah.
out, and then in the lounge is this band, and here's this Steve Perry singer with very long hair. And then he was like, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, we got engaged on Christmas, and I was like, oh no, what is this? I'm only in, but I was trying to say, and he's like, I'll move to LA. And I was like, there's no job for you in LA. You got a house, you got this.
You gotta stay Steve Perry.
Vegas gig. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're not just gonna get in a band. No. You're out of it's not. So we broke up shortly. I think we didn't make it all the way to Valentine's Day, or maybe we did to Valentine's Day, but yeah. But anyway, you know what I saw once in Vegas that I wish I had a camera for? First of all, I love Michael Jackson.
Mhm.
And I don't like documentaries that throw people under the bus when you're
Right.
dead and you can't even defend yourself. And you're
Right.
like, oh, this guy just
Yeah.
them. So I didn't watch it. But I loved his music, and I like Woody Allen's movies, and I'm sorry that he did that, but I'm trying to separate out the art. But
Mhm.
so in Vegas, I'm here another time, and this is in the late 90s. I'm sitting at the bar waiting in between shows to go back into the showroom and playing video poker.
Mhm.
And all of a sudden, I see a couple Michael Jackson impersonators across the bar. Then I
Yeah.
see like maybe 12, 13. It grows up to 18 Michael Jackson impersonators. Now, these are people who have surgically altered
Oof.
themselves to be perfect as they can, versions of Michael, and they are in variety shows. They are the Michael Jacksons from the streets. They are the female impersonators from La Caja Fall that are doing Michael. They are the Michael Jacksons that are in every variety show. And they are all lamenting. This is like around 10 o'clock, 9:30, lamenting and having a drink together that they've all been kicked out of their shows because Michael
Oh.
that thing, and they all have been taken out of their shows, and they have gone to great ends to look exactly like him. And
Sure.
I thought, oh, my heart went out to them all. But I thought, if I had a camera, like
Yeah.
I was seeing a time and a place in the world.
I don't think I could even describe that to like ChatGPT to create that image of 18 Michael Jackson impersonators lamenting over unemployment due to his documentary.
Well, this wasn't his documentary. This is when the charges first came out in the 90s.
Oh wow.
This is
Oh,
when
wow.
he was
And
fighting.
they looked like all eras of Michael Jackson, or were they all like the same year? Like they were all like
Oh, they were pretty much
the
no,
current
they weren't all eras. No, they were
mid '90s
the
Michael
mid
Jackson. Yeah.
90s, the silver glove and the
Mhm.
red jacket
Mhm.
and the very sculpted nose, and no, they had all, so that's what they were all there. They weren't all eras of him. And
Right.
some looked a little more like him, some were, various different shades of
Yeah.
Michael Jackson's. But it was, can you imagine seeing that, Evan?
It's crazy.
It was crazy.
There
It
would
was
no be no other like who
surreal.
else would that? I mean, if it was Elvis, maybe Elvis would be just as if there are 18 Elvis impersonators all looking sad. But usually the humor with Elvis is that you can get anyone can dress up as an Elvis.
Yeah, you get the
Yeah,
wig, you get the
the
outfit
outfit.
on. Yeah, but the Michael Jacksons had to dance.
Yeah,
Like, even if you were a female impersonator and you were, singing to the song, you better know those moves. You better moonwalk, you better turn, you better tip your hat. So these were
right.
talented performers, and some were singers that were on the street singing,
Yeah.
but I was like, "What am I seeing right now? This is crazy." And that's when I learned, because when you're in Vegas, you're not getting up in the morning and turning on the news. I didn't even know really what was going on, but then I
Right.
could hear from them, blah, blah, blah.
Mhm.
So then I turned on the news and was like, "Oh my God,
Jeez.
you've made your whole life to look and emulate this man. And now, because of this thing,
Right.
uh, you're out."
Yeah. Yeah.
But Michael Jackson is back in Vegas. There are people, because there's it. I don't know to what
Timeless.
degree,
Yeah.
but he is timeless. And at one point, Michael Jackson was the most well-known name in the world
Mhm.
besides Coca-Cola. Even if you were
Wow.
going to go into Peru, you could say Coca-Cola or
Mhm.
Michael Jackson. You could go into this country in Ecuador, just in this huge rainforest and find someone. Michael Jackson would be, scientists scouted it out and proved that Coca-Cola and Michael Jackson were the most well-known names in the world.
Yeah. Well,
So,
hopefully one day there'll be 10 Andrea Abbate shows, 10 Andrea Abbate impersonators.
oh, I would love that.
You'd have a whole army of them dancing
I
with
would love
you,
yes.
backing you up for your song.
Thank you, Evan. Thank you. This has been
So
fun.
yes, definitely. So yes, let me put the dates up. We
Okay.
got 4 dates left.
That's right.
It's around Cahuenga and Santa Monica. So if you're in
Yeah.
LA, or just fly in from somewhere. I hear
Yeah.
flights are more expensive. What? No, ignore it. Forget what I just said. But yeah, they're
You
here.
can go to the and you can follow me on Instagram at Andrea. See how it's written there, Andrea
Yeah.
R Abbott on Instagram, or
Okay.
on TikTok. I've got a lot of TikTok followers at Andrea Abbott
Okay.
544, and both of those platforms, and of course Facebook. All of those platforms will tell you how to get tickets.
Good.
And I'm really excited. Thank you so much for having
We're
me.
gonna sell out the show. All I'll say is like, I mean, I still want to see the show, but I know what happens. I like the payoff. I like your purpose, and I like the message. But we're gonna see. We're gonna see how this goes.
I'm a healthy, happy person now,
Yes,
and
and that's all that matters.
that's all that matters.
Where do you
Yes.
get? Where we all come from somewhere, and it's all about where you go. So
Yes. And Evan, so I want to ask you one more question. Do
okay,
you feel socially awkward?
all the
Does
time.
that resonate with you?
Yeah, I think because I had like 4,500 Facebook friends, and a lot of them was when I was just trying to get as many friends as I could in the
Right.
beginning. So that would obviously lead to some awkward conversations
Yes.
with Facebook friends. I've interviewed about 150 of my Facebook friends, and
Wow.
yeah, I like having like first conversations with people. I think that's fun.
It is fun. It is fun.
But I made sure to yeah, it fits.
Yeah.
I know there's other socially awkward podcasts out there, but if I had my name on it, they can't come at me for stealing their
Oh,
name.
yeah,
Yeah,
with
yeah.
Evan Weck.
That's right.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Well, thank you so much for having me
Thank you.